Canada is absolutely furious, and Canadian snowbirds who used to show up in the United States during the very cold Canadian winters, they have a message to other Canadians, which is Canadian snowbirds, do not let another Canadian snowbird go to Magistan. Watch as Charlie Angus from Meidas, Canada, puts it in the only way Charlie Angus can. Here, play this clip.
Snowbird friends, hold the line. What you're doing matters. This is about the fight for democracy. This is about putting the pressure on an authoritarian regime. So friends, don't let friends go to Magistan.
And this is more from Charlie Angus's blockbuster report on the snowbird Canadian boycott that's crushing the United States tourism economy. See you later, Arizona. See you later, Florida. See you later, North Carolina. Unfortunately, see you later here in California. The Trump regime has done pissed off Canada, and Canada striking back. Here, let's play this clip right here.
On the issue of the snowbirds, we see Nevada. Big headlines saying Nevada's turning on Trump. They were like, what happened to our economy? Yeah, we had the mayor of Las Vegas come out and beg Canadians to come back and said they're not coming back. Right now, there's a $20.5 billion investment that's on the table from the snowbirds. This is what happens every year. The snowbirds going down to Florida, going down to Arizona, going down to New Mexico. Some were going down to North Carolina, Tom Tillis. That was $20.5 billion of badly needed regional and local monies. And that money is not happening this year because of the snowbird boycott, the fact that the snowbirds are saying no.
All right, I want to show you Charlie Angus, the leader of Meidas Canada's full report on the Canadian snowbird boycott and how it's impacting the United States. I'm so proud of the launch of Meidas Canada, and I'm even prouder that it's led by Charlie Angus, leader of the resistance and Meidas Canada tour. What's up, Maple Meidas? We see you. Charlie, take it away.
Hey there, Meidas, mighty resistors from all over the globe. Charlie Angus here from the snows of northern Canada. On today's episode, we're going to dig deeper into the revenge of the snowbirds, how boomers from Canada are putting the run on MAGA. You know, when you look at what Donald Trump has done to the United States, obviously the idea that he's like this Manchurian candidate, a sock puppet of Vladimir Putin, becomes obvious. Right now, we see the whole world was meeting in Johannesburg. Donald Trump demanded that nobody go, and nobody listened to him. Can you imagine another president who would be throwing down the gauntlet to the Western allies and he would just be ignored? That's the state the United States is in right now. Donald Trump has made this country isolated, hated, and weakened. I mean, obviously, they're popping the champagne corks in the Kremlin right now. But it's not just Donald Trump. It's, I mean, there's a whole series of these American politicians who want to gaslight and pick fights with Canada, of all places, like their former #1 ally and a nation that they are absolutely dependent on economically. They just didn't realize it, which is why this story of the snowbirds is so important, because the snowbird battle is the frontline battle right now in the resistance to MAGA and their ideology. So, you know, I mean, we talk about how Donald Trump has gaslit us, and then we have lying Pete Hoekstra, the MAGA ambassador, whose only job, it seems, in Canada is to provoke confrontation. You know, last week he was shouting off again about the World Series ad, blaming us for foreign interference, for running an ad quoting Ronald Reagan. And then he found out that Canada was actually talking with the Swedes about investing in the Gripen fighter jets, and the Swedes coming over, talking with respect, talking about building an economy with Canada, and an alliance with Canada, offering thousands of jobs. So then Pete Hoekstra said, well, forget what I said about we're not going to talk to Canada ever again because of the ads. If you buy the F-35s, we're never going to talk to Canada again. And this week, you know, full week later, Mark Carney responds, says, well, we'll talk to the United States when we're good and ready. I mean, nobody's paying attention to your gaslighting, Pete Hoekstra. Then J.D. Vance got off the couch and tried to gaslight Canada. For what possible reason? Is he just doing talking points for Pierre Poilievre? And then we have this Tom Tillis from North Carolina. Yeah, no Canadians are going to North Carolina this year, Tom. We'll make sure of that. And he demands that Canada pay the United States $300 billion, which he says we owe them for NATO. This as his allies are undermining NATO and trying to sell Ukraine down the river. And Tom Tillis is upset, apparently, because he says Canadians are making fun of the United States over their lack of public health care. Well, Tom Tillis, that's your problem. The fact that citizens in your state and your country don't have public health care and you don't care. And what he says is, quote, some people look down the nose of the United States for not having the same access to health care as Canada, but we meet our military commitments. So is that like the $2 trillion you spent on the illegal invasion of Iraq? Wouldn't that have been better spent on public health care, on emergency wards? And, you know, in Canada, we're celebrating a national dental care program. You could have spent that and kept your military budget up. You just wouldn't have had to make an illegal invasion and killed so many thousands of people for right-wing ideology. Take that to the bank, Tom. Anyways, what we're seeing now is that at a time when the United States is desperately in need of allies and their economy is tanking, they're poking fights more and more. On the issue of the snowbirds, we see Nevada, big headlines saying Nevada's turning on Trump. They were like, what happened to our economy? Yeah, we had the mayor of Las Vegas come out and beg Canadians to come back and said they're not coming back. Right now, there's a $20.5 billion investment that's on the table from the snowbirds. This is what happens every year. The snowbirds going down to Florida, going down to Arizona, going down to New Mexico. Some were going down to North Carolina, Tom Tillis. That was $20.5 billion of badly needed regional and local monies. And that money is not happening this year because of the snowbird boycott, the fact that the snowbirds are saying no. So I want to bring you some of the stories that we're hearing from snowbirds who've been reaching out and from people in Sunshine States who are talking about the importance of the boycott. Because Donald Trump, for whatever reason, maybe his long-term plan was to leave the United States a broken vassal in relation to Putin's Russia. But for all the state governors, for all the MAGA politicians who are going along with that, this is going to be a tough winter for you. So I just want to read some of the messages we're getting in terms of the resistors who are out there. Tai writes, as a snowbird of many years, we started our boycott last year, and it will absolutely continue. No plan to ever set foot in the U.S. again. Everett Trimble writes, I hate the cold, but I would rather freeze to death than visit the fascists. Stephen Ludlam writes quite simply, a friend doesn't let a friend go to the United States. Now, here's an interesting one. So this is from Bob Banker, an American living in Florida. He says, I live in Florida. The snowbird boycott indirectly hurts me, but not as much as the Trump regime does. Charlie is right about the need to hit Trump and his acolytes in their wallets. So please continue to boycott American products and travel. Thank you. We've been getting similar messages, from people in the bourbon regions in Kentucky who are saying, yeah, they're taking a serious hit, but they need Canada to hold the line so that they can help get their democracy back. CLK writes, this is a really interesting one. Canadian here. I just got a text from some friends who are currently on a Mediterranean cruise. They were having dinner with some other Canadians they'd met on the ship, and the waiter bought a bottle of red wine from Washington State. And the other Canadians at the table asked for it to be taken away and replaced with anything that was not American. The waiter was confused, but complied. Elbows up. We have this one as well from Rick Blackwell. I do not see this as a boycott. I see this as a permanent realization that as a non-U.S. citizen, I am now subject to arbitrary search and seizure as well as jail. Therefore, I treat the USA as I would North Korea or any other non-democratic society. The USA is simply not a place to visit. Thanks for that, Rick. And you know, it's interesting, as the Americans were watching the flights being canceled, the $5.7 billion in tourism lost to the United States this year, rather than trying to invite people and making it easier, they announced that, heck, they were going to start photographing and fingerprinting the snowbirds who come this year. It's like they want to turn the United States into a form of North Korea, an isolated, friendless place. Again, they're popping champagne corks in the Kremlin right now. Here's another one from a Sunshine State. Jeff Mason writes, "We here in Scottsdale will miss our Canadian friends this winter, but we appreciate their solidarity in the resistance to Trump and MAGA." Marie Usherwood writes, "This snowbird for the first time ever has booked January, February, March in Rhodes, Greece. Similar temperatures as Florida, but no Trump flags or stupid red hats. Darn tootin'." And another one, "Come to the south of France. No MAGA, no ice, just friendly folk and beautiful scenery." We're getting similar messages from our Meidas allies in Portugal, inviting people to come to Portugal. I haven't been, but I hear it's wonderful. Lots of our Aussie and New Zealand friends saying, come visit, cousins. We're here. It's good time to come. So big shout out. Certainly, we want to have our Aussie and New Zealand Commonwealth cousins well supported. So if you're making plans to travel this winter and you don't want to stay in the snow, that's a good place to consider. And this is from Janice Gullett. She writes, "Thank you, Charlie. We are no longer snowbirds going to Palm Desert, California. We love the people, the warm temperatures, the great food, and the wonderful interest, but we will never return. I have lost count of all the reasons why we will not step foot in the U.S., including attacks against our sovereignty, the lies, the disinformation, and attempts to steal our resources. They are no longer our friends, allies, or trading partners. Why would you travel to a fascist country that detains, imprisons, abuses, and deports people? They're deporting people who are hardworking, who just want to become citizens. The people that we knew and respected and appreciated for their incredible hard work and true family values." Thank you for that, Janice. Maudie G. writes, "As a U.S. citizen, I suspect some of us are nervous about travel outside the U.S. due to the hassle of getting back into the U.S. Things are so crazy here. Who can tell us what is going to come next?" And Paul Goodwin writes, "I just met 2 teachers in New Mexico that have sold everything and are moving to Sweden because they're afraid to teach in the United States." I got another great message from a woman who said that she stopped going to her chiropractor because her chiropractor continues to travel to the United States, and she said, "I just don't want to even give him the business." So that's how deep this is. We are at this transformative moment. The United States has basically abandoned their relation with their neighbors, abandoned their relationship with the world, have become a toxic threat, and Canadians are pulling out. So the resistance to MAGA is super important. So my snowbird friends, hold the line. What you're doing matters. This is about the fight for democracy. This is about putting the pressure on an authoritarian regime. So friends, don't let friends go to MAGAstan. And I'm going to end on this. We got this in the mail from Don Miller in London. Just to remind you what we're about. Check that out. Keep calm and buy Canadian. So we've got this, my friends. Keep kicking at the darkness. It's going to bleed daylight. Thank you, merci, and Megwitch.
Well, a great report there by Charlie Angus. Everybody, let me know what you think. Hit subscribe here and go over and make sure you subscribe to Meidas Canada. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.